Okay, conservative life on Mars because we are living in strange times. Say it ain't so, Joe. I have long stated that Joe Biden did not have COVID. He did not have COVID. But he was advised by the Democrat Elite Mafia, DEM, to go to his home basement and allow himself to be bullied and badgered into submission and get out of the race. The Democrat Elite Mafia is the epitome to that. Remember that old R&B song, these hoes ain't loyal? Yeah, these Democrats ain't loyal. This is who these folks are. And where was Jill when all this was happening? I'm sure they had her tucked away and had her go shopping somewhere so they could have exclusive access to Joe. Because remember, in these past several months, you always saw him with Jill, and you're just going to tell me she just up and left him alone with these fools, or with Obama, who has been labeled as a puppet master? Come on, come again. Now look. Think about it. You have all these Hollywood elites. A lot of politicians have been pulling their support and demanding Joe leave the race, and he's been very defiant. So what's the change? Now, one thing I do believe is that he was summoned to go back to Delaware, and to wait for a exit plan, or chaos exit plan is kind of what I'm calling it. So to decide how he could gracefully leave once they have figured out how to diminish this defiance that he had, which has been crazy. Now, this race that's been happening is more about spending and spreading sick agendas. I don't even need to go into any kind of real philosophy with this, and warped ideologies, than it is about saving the United States as we know it, or how we once knew it. Once the chaos plan was finalized by the Democrat Elite Mafia, they had the final talk. I'm saying they should be ashamed of themselves in the first place for electing this old man in 2020, and they elected him as their savior of the republic instead of looking for somebody with longevity or an up-and-coming candidate. There are plenty of them out there. Biden is in the twilight of his career, and they are so willing to dump him and send him to the glue factory. This is something that they should have done a while back in a much nicer tone and a nicer way. But they're a bunch of cutthroats, and we're seeing this. Again, I say, these Democrats ain't loyal. It was just last year they were all talking bad about the House of Representatives kerfuffle with the Republicans, but the Republicans weren't really trying to cut folks by the throat. This is the ultimate cutthroat deal that they're doing right now for all the marbles. I also want to say this. Biden's health issues should have been a concern from the very beginning, but they were all glossed over. Believe me. I mean, think about it. Go back. There is no way that this man should have been expected to take 8 years. Everybody knew what his age was, and at that time, people naturally just start falling off. It's what happens with the passage of time. It's all going to happen to everybody. Now, if you think about Trump was in interviews. Trump was always asked these hardball questions, but with the same interviews, Biden always got these softball questions like, "What's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite baseball team?" This, that, and the other. While Trump was doing hardball questions. This was something that was pointed out a long time ago. So this has been a long time coming. And perhaps the reason why people were hiding that he had an impairment. So he's been showing this for the past couple of years, and folks have just been acting like this just suddenly happened. No, start thinking about those times when they had excuses for Biden doing this, doing that. He was possibly showing some kind of impairment. But again, this conversation should have happened last year when the primary seasons happened. They should have just came in, this elite mafia, and said, "Look, man, you're not up to par, It's time for you to go. Let's get a nice up-and-coming person. Let's vet another person. Okay. All in all, it's sad to see Biden go down like this. I just really think it's a bad look, especially on the Democrats. They're not showing us anything unexpected, but this is what's happening. Conservative life on Mars, because we're living in strange times. Tell me, am I blowing smoke, or have you noticed and seen the same things, or do you agree with me?